these black Brits, there's not really too many men that are like unapologetic with it. That's a dying breed.
By design, Mark.
But even with the design thing, Noble, none of that design thing worked with me and you. So how long can we keep using that? Because I'm saying to you, like, for me to find love in my community is easy for me. For me, that's easy. Like, what's easier than that? I remember just being a youth, you know, and seeing these black footballers, and I'm just like, yo, these men are at the World Cup, no, but like playing ball at the World Cup. Like, yeah, the wags and that. I'm like, yo, where's all the black women? Like, all these men, this is where I couldn't watch football, no, but like, I'll be like, yo, man looks like us, but that's about it.
Yes.
Like, there's no representation. Yes. No, but as a Caribbean child, yeah, where's the representation? The little representation that we did have, man sold out. Ian Wright. I remember man used to rate Ian Wright. Yeah, man, he's just like us. Yeah, man, he's from Jamaica. AB. Then you sold out. You know what I mean? Like, where is it? So if you're coming from the Caribbean and you're looking through a lens, what lens can you look through? Who can you see to say, yo, that's the way, how we move forward? I remember there's this guy called Barakan Sanya. One of you football mans put it in the chat. No, but this man's like purple. You know what I mean? Purple, like dark to where he's purple. Man come straight through with something. The only thing missing was 7 dwarfs. That was it. And I'm like your whole life, you've grown up in Africa your whole life. You know, the African part of France. And all of a sudden you start playing football and you're not into black girl. Like, so of course, black British, there is a disconnect. There is. And as a Caribbean, it's even worse. You get what I mean? It's even worse because there is no connect. There's no connect, Noble. There's no connect. So, of course, we're in a place now where now black love, Aisha, black love isn't pushed in the household. Almost most Caribbean women are all married. Wow. So children don't see a black relationship, so no value. Yeah, facts.
It's been pushed down and marginalized. It's that's what it is. As you say, and seeing where can you go and see a representation of wholesomeness of two people looking the same from a West Indian, from an African American quote unquote background who are there doing the thizzle wiggle. There's small and few between. Why? You can say, look, I said this last time, right? It's all by design, man. Like, they're not parading the Singhs around, the Alis around to show that they're with other nations because they haven't been thoroughly stripped of a knowledge of self. You can lead a horse to water, but what?
You can't force him to drink?
Yeah, make him drink the something, innit? So they put the stuff out, as you said, Mark. We didn't fall for the thing, did we? No, we didn't. I did for a little bit, and not necessarily in regards to, the Love is Blind crew and hating, But I fell for certain programs and certain tricks. I didn't, going back to what I was going to say earlier, previously, but when I was a youth, Mark, as I said, I knew I was original, but that didn't necessarily mean anything special, quote unquote. It was like, okay, I'm just a person. I'm talking of a innocent. I'm talking like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These kind of times. It wasn't until I got to like 8, 7, 8 did someone nignog, gollywog. Those terms were hurled at me. I had no mark. I was innocent, a child. I had no clue what that meant. I had to ask my sister. Someone called me this. I knew it was something bad, but I'm like, gollywog. The thing on the jam jar.
Black love has been under attack. That's 1,000%. What happens is this, like, we've lost the value. We've lost the understanding that we're both valuable. Man is valuable and woman is valuable. Once that was taken from us, that's how we're in a position what we're in today. Like, I can't look for love nowhere else but within the community. I'm sorry, man. I know we've got all nations on here. I can only look for love within our community. That don't mean that. But the thing is, I see others like that are together from the same community, and like I respect their love. Like, I understand their love. You see what I'm saying, Obo? Like, I'll see like a Cypriot man that I went to school with, and he's married to his Cypriot woman. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, for me, he's doing it like he's living the dream. Who better than to tackle the world than a sister who understands your struggle, who understands your pain, who understands where you're coming from? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's just me. And I feel like the family structure, it starts there. It starts with the family structure. Once that was under attack, and a lot of these men are looking for love outside. Their parents haven't put no culture in them. You see what I'm saying? I remember this picture a while ago, and it was like a wedding, and it was like maybe 6 sisters. Their brother was getting married, and the mom was in the wedding photo. The aunties was in the wedding photo. It was all these black women, sisters, aunties. The grandmother was there. All these people, they were all standing around this black boy, yeah, who was marrying this white girl. And like, it was almost like the picture was almost like saying like, oh, you lot raised him to come to me. Like, no one taught me to love black women, you know. Nobody taught me.
No, no. But it did indirectly, Mark, through your experiences, through your learned and shared, learned and viewed experiences. You saw love, ultimate love.
It was pre-programmed. You know, when you buy like you buy a phone, and there's like apps that are already set on the phone.
The bloatware.
Like, yeah, man. Like, I just think you line up a black woman, like, it's just a picture, like, it's just picture perfect to me. It's just picture for me. It's just picture perfect. Like, I'm not no colorist, none of that. I just think all shades, all sight. Like, I just figure like how a man can't find love there for me. It's crazy. My children are in my image, 100%.
This is exactly where I was gonna go, Mark. This is what people. This is, you know. It seems like I always say, shit is always, it's a web. Things are so much interlinked and interwoven. So if you don't have long-term thinking, and all you're thinking about is your willy and your and sexual gratification,
that too.
Then of course you're not thinking about your lineage, your dynasty, and your legacy. You're not thinking of, whoa, when I grew up, there was Uncle John, there was Auntie Kathleen, you know what I mean? And they all look just like my granny and my mom, and just like us. But when with your far self, with your lower chakra, non-prevention is better than cure, not long-term thinking, not planning this thing out, you're like, nah, I'm like, hey, Sharon, with that blonde hair and those extensions, with that stuff in the lips, you know what I mean? That contouring and thing. Yo, that's the Flidex. I said, yo, it's all on the Instagram, Mark. I go on the Instagram, and it's all this them girl them with them twist up and them chest twist up and the contour thing. Yo, that's what they're promoting now. That's what is sexy. You know, they've got the little gym yoga pants on, and it's all cool. They're dancing to the Negro music now and all of that stuff. That's what's. I turn on the television, Mark, and they're there with the little short skirts, and they're flipping their legs around with the heels on. I'm excited now. That's what's sexy. That's what is what I'm liking. I'm not seeing the cis-strings up there, the plethora of cis-strings who are just showing their body all on the damn Insta. He's skipping past those. He's just looking for the bright white blondies. You know what I mean? The baddies. Yeah. Not the goodies, the baddies. And that's his taste. He's been from 7 years old, Mark. He's got a pocket computer in his phone, unlike when we were growing up. And they don't want to raise children anymore. They want it easy. So they get the mobile phone, the pocket computer, and they give it to him or her with no restrictions. And they're on there watching the most filth. Not playing flipping Street Fighter 2 with the headsets on Xbox Live and all that there. They're on that thing swapping the most degrading, disgusting.
The family structure. Yeah, once that was damaged, then the man's roles disappeared. That is where it started. The family structure, once that was not important anymore, that's where it started. Then man's roles disappeared. Man was supposed to lead the household. Man was supposed to provide for the household. That disappeared. Once that disappeared, you created boys who carried on being boys when they were actually men. That's what we created. Now, once that was created, there's no sort of guideline. There's no guideline or nothing. There's nothing. A man just does what he wants to do.
We have choice, and we have options. Let's switch it a little bit to the feminine aspect of it, because they haven't been immune. They haven't been immune to the brainwashing and to the folly. You know what I mean? The sickness, the virus, which again divides us even further and destroys this nuclear family that we once had. Only 2 generations ago we had a nuclear family, and it's been destroyed very, very quickly.
Very,
very quickly.
very.
Now, the Sistrians have got a chip in their head as well, where they, unfortunately, due to, as I've highlighted, what we're supposedly eating as food, okay, they have a lot of masculine tendencies. Unfortunately, some of them, they're going outside of their feminine role and principles. And why are they doing that? They're doing that for a multitude of reasons. As I said, the food. They're doing that due to the social engineering. And they're doing that out of a sense of almost necessity, because the weak, and I will repeat again, the weak Negro male who is presenting as a man, as a full-grown man, he's doing boy-type stuff. He has arrested developments. He's running around sticking his thing into anything with no consequences. No one's checking him. The mother ain't checking him. The auntie ain't checking him. The uncle ain't checking him, okay? His brethren ain't checking him. They're celebrating the thing, yeah? They're co-signing the thing. So why shouldn't he continue to do the foolishness? Well, the Sistrian has to say, okay, well, they're doing that. My defense is now, I'm going to be more like I'm going to take more of the masculine principles on to protect myself and to raise this little child I've got.
And that type of woman treats the son like he's her man. You know how much woman of, yo, my son's my man, I don't need no man, really. And then what you do is you raise that son up till a certain age. He leaves with Becky. Now you got no man because you've dogged men out for years. Now you're going to grow old. Your son's going to move out to another city, or he's going to be gone. And now you haven't invested into a union. You haven't invested into a union. Then a lot of men, you man are going to be in for a shock as well. We've lost our identity.
Yes.
We've lost it. Take 2 German shepherds in Germany. Mm-hmm. They have a litter. That litter remains in Germany, but then that litter go to the UK and have another litter. Now, are any of them any different, or are they just born in a different place?
You know it, Mark. We've had this
all right,
one.
This is what I'm saying. But for us, we've somehow believed that because we've been born in a different, like, all else is forgotten. And what I'm saying is that's where the issue starts.
Yes.
Once you lose that, once you lose the fact that who you are, that's where the issue starts.
You see where you're going now?
Yeah.
Identity, Mark.
That's it. Yeah. There's no identity. So these youths, remember, we have no identity. So a lot of these, man, where was their influences coming from? The States.
Come on.
Now you got to think now, their influence have came from the States. And what were the States teaching us when we were growing up? Badmanism and being a gallus. I've said it a million times. It was never nothing negative to have women in our community. It was never negative. It was celebrated from all angles. Now I'm saying in other communities, a man hides to do that. He hides. But in our community, music, TV, and film, it's all glorified being a gallus. It's glorified.
Everything negative. This is
everything. It's glorified. So when you're going at these young men who think like that with their little head, a lot of them have been programmed to think like that. When I was younger, a man who had gal, it was almost like, yo, my man's a bad man in this thing. You know much, you know what I mean? Like it was a positive, and I'm saying that damaged a lot of man as well. And then that put stereotypical views on us.
But you know what that is? Think about it. Let's just go back to the male side of it now. So you remember what he said? The Most High didn't create nothing out of balance. Everything is how it's supposed to be. Man. It's self-control. This is what the issue is. So the Most High endowed males to want to, dance with women in bed. Ideally, it's one woman you find, but it's real easy. It's real easy to not to be disciplined. It's real easy to do the thing, to be the gallus, and to be celebrated, because the other man's like, shit, yo, my man's doing it. Yo, I'd love to be able to do that thing. Yeah, man. Yo, how you doing that? Yo, did it? If the identity if the moral compass was there, if that foundation was there, if the community was there, the brethren was there to check and say, nah, hold up. That Marie's cool, man. What you doing? You can't think about doing that. Yo, you're an idiot, man. Yeah. This is the thing. No one's being accountability. No one's being accountable for themselves, and they're for sure not holding anybody else to any kind of basic standards.
How can you, though, Noble? How can you? Because I'm saying to you, if I've got a friend who's living like that, yeah, and he's living a promiscuous lifestyle, a lot of these men have been groomed into that. You know, like how they'll say like a girl was groomed or grooming gangs or whatever. A lot of us were groomed by our culture to be gallus. Now, I'm not saying that I'm that or was ever that, but a lot of men who are that, no, but they was groomed to be that. Think about it, from your eyes could open. What year was Trailer Load made? That was spinning in every party. Look how much songs about just being a gallus. Think about it. Was it ever pushed as a negative thing?
Now, remember, so again, I'm going to keep it personal now. So when that came out, I couldn't stand any of that kind of stuff. I was influenced heavily by the wilderness of North America.
Even worse?
Exactly, this is the point.
Yeah.
But again, for me, I heard it and it was cool. It sounded alright, but I was like, I'm not down with this ragga thing. But yeah, it's cool. And it was just music. It was just music. I didn't even take it for like, yo, it's a trailer load of gal. Oh yeah, man. No, I didn't have the uncles who were on that vibe. Most of my growing up, my relatives were big people. I didn't have youngsters. Now, if they were doing that stuff, they wasn't put in my face, so I wasn't groomed in that respect. My turning point is when I was with a girl and young teenage times, and the longest relationship I ever had, and the girl did a madness, right? So I'm hearing all this stuff and I'm thinking, hold up, he's a big man as well. Okay. And I'm like, oh, if you can do that, and I'm being as open and as genuine, and I'm coming to meeting all your family and all this, I'm doing the right thing, sibling, outside of everyone else macking and all that. So she did that. So what do you think I did? What was my response to being there?
You turn cold.
I turned into a Mac.
Yeah, that's how it happens. That's how it happens, because what it is we've lost a lot of the basic steps. We've lost a lot of that noble, the basic things. So a relationship, it's something that is built over time. Like, it don't happen overnight, but what it is like the honeymoon period, people hold on to that as though it's a real thing. So the honeymoon period could last. I always say it lasts. I say the honeymoon period is until you commit to each other. And when I say commit, like you either move in, you have a child. Until that, not anyone can hide who they are. I'm telling you a fact. Until you're living with someone, you've gone away with them at length, or you've had a child with them, you don't know who that person is.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
And those things have gone missing from us. A lot of men, I'll see men who will meet a woman, and it's like they're ready to give their all straight away. But when you look at it like that, you'll be like, okay, you're gonna do that, but you don't know this person. So now, when things go wrong, you're now damaged.
Your hurts.
And the person who you was probably waiting for, you're bringing that trauma to them.
Yes.
And that's happening a lot as well. That's going on a lot as well. And then when you look at like crime, that comes from the community not having long-term thinking. The facts are that some of the decisions that I make, that I see within our community, and I'm like, what?
I know.
You man are making that kind of short-term like long-term thinking is one of the most important things you can put into a person.
Yeah.
Like, once you look at a situation as long-term, you'll look at it in a different way.
See, these man's, Mark, they didn't even get a piggy bank when they were youths.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
From as basic as having a piggy bank where you're going to put your 2 pences, 5 pence. Obviously, it's a new day now. When I was coming up, I'd be lucky to see a 5 pence silver coin in that there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But basic things like that, they're not. Look, they're being failed everywhere, Mark. Every flipping where. The youth them are being failed. They're being failed by their so-called parent. Now, I'll give them a blight because there's a lot of pressures, man. There is a lot of pressures, and people don't understand. People just think that they can stick their willy into something, create life, and it just falls into place. And everything is everything. No.
Yeah, man.
No. Your responsibility is massive. You've now created another life. The two of you have come together and created life. So what does that mean? That means you've got to instill as much into that child as possible. You've got to give them as much advantages. What advantages do you have coming up? Just
all that's gone, no, Noble. All of that. This is what I say, that I believe that my mindset and the person I am was better suited towards the Windrush generation. We've lost so much culture along the way. We've lost so much. We've lost so much of it. Like the Caribbean, there is no Caribbean culture in the UK. There is none, because what we're doing,
carnival culture. That's
it's just carnival every year. Everyone put on their yard kit, skin out, gal twerking and doing all that. That's not our culture.
No, it's not, man.
That partying and just having a good time is not our culture. Like, there's a bag of man who think one way.
This is a microcosm. The effects are massive, but the people who are actually causing this stupid shit, a few, man. There are a few. But that few is being magnified with all of that billions of pounds of tech money, of entertainment money, of media money. And that's what the thing is. We're pushing this sense, not common sense. We're pushing this sense out here. We're giving people keys to open doors. Every stream, sibling.
Look at the podcast awards, Noble. Look at the podcast awards. I was even gonna message the brother. You know, they got these podcast awards. Yeah. When I checked out the man's that was like top 10, I'm like, none of this content is progressive content. No. It's all entertainment based, but. Why am I even shocked? Because that's what we're on here. We're on entertainment. That's where we're at a place now where it's all about entertainment. Yo, let's just come on here, make a fool of ourselves, talk certain nonsense, and that will get the views.
I've heard some from youngsters talking about not being able to go to certain places, catching certain buses and all this business. Not because of the Combat 18, Mark. Not because of the National Front, the BNP, or going to like Northfields where it was predominantly white, and there would be people who would try and put it on you. Yeah, it's not like going to Coventry back in the day where there'd be mans that would try it with you, big man, 20s and 30s, trying to deal with little teenagers and shit. Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about people who look just like you, who come from flipping the Caribbean potentially somewhere, who's just like you, who are going to target you because you are a victim. You're a victim to them. You're an op. Why are you around here, blood?
Man need to start waking up and getting some reality checks out here. I can remember walking out of school for the last day. And from that point to now has felt like a drop in the oil. It's just happened so fast. It's happened that fast. The amount of people lost along the way.
Come on.
The amount of men that have built relationships with, friendships, meaning like, you know, professional relationships, friendships, associates who have gone, who have moved on, died, finished, their journey's over. It's always been like this for me. Life is like a relay. You get the baton, and while you're living, you're running with that baton. When you die, that baton gets passed to the next man. When you give him that baton, he's got to have at least an understanding of how to navigate Britain. Now, for me now, with my children now, I know that I've got a very important job with these children. And we're at a time now where I believe that my children can be anything. So I've got to give them an understanding that the world's a big place. I've got to give them an understanding that utilize technology. I've got to give them an understanding that use each other, trust each other, because this world's getting colder by the day. Stay close to each other, use each other. And that's the job we've got on our hands now. You got to teach them to love who they are. So let's say there's a dress-up day. You've always got to give them characters that are from your background. You've got to show them people that are doing positive in your background. You've got to show them images. These things stick in their head. Give them tell them stories that, you know, that you can give hidden messages in the stories. Like, you always hear me talk about The Emperor's New Clothes. Yes. But for me, that's one of the most important books to explain to children the madness that's going on now. Because they'll read the book and they'll be like, tell them the story, and they'll be like, no, that's silly. That's it. And you'll be like, exactly.
Of course.
And that's the job that we've got now as parents. But a lot of us are like, we're lying to these children and telling them that, that's it, they're equal. And that's why a lot of these boys, they're going out there, they're getting in trouble, and actually upset when they get in trouble. Like, the police ain't treating me the same as everyone else. I'm like, and you thought they was going to.